With my arm around April's neck, I limped my way into the medicine aisle. When we reached the medicine aisle, there wasn't much medicine to choose from. Though we didn't find all that much medicine, we did find a couple bottles of rubbing alcohol. When I seen the rubbing alcohol, I groaned, knowing that I was about to experience a bout of extreme pain. I wasn't a fan of pain, and knowing that rubbing alcohol was involved made a little tear come out of my eyes. I quickly wiped it away so that April didn't see me tearing up. While Angel gently put me down on the floor, she reached out to grab the rubbing alcohol. As soon as she grabbed it, I truly wanted to cry but held it in. April put down the rubbing alcohol right by my face. I don't know if she knew how much anxiety the rubbing alcohol was causing me by putting it by my face. I was thinking to myself, is this what hell feels like? I was honestly asking this question that would never be answered. Don't move too much, I'll go get a couple of things, so hold on tight. I was thinking to myself, even if I wanted to move I wouldn't be able to, so I nodded in confirmation. As I waited for April, I started to think back on the previous fight and the moments leading to the fight. I had committed too many mistakes that could have been avoided. Starting from when I first felt that something was following me, I should have informed April, and by doing so we could have been more prepared. Also, when we were fighting the Shadow Goblin, I didn't take the fight as serious as I should have. I also disregarded the fact that in any RPG game, the boss-type monsters had special skills. Even though this was real life and we wouldn't revive when we died, it was pretty similar. The biggest mistake that I committed was not knowing the special characteristic of the Shadow Goblin. It was thanks to April covering up my mistakes that we were able to win the fight. The one thing that I learned from all my fights was that I am extremely weak. I didn't pay much attention to what was going on, and I needed to get in shape. My best option was to get April to train with me, since I didn't know how to fight properly, and I didn't think I would find a better person. Besides, it was also a way to get in her good grace. While I was still in my thoughts, April came back without me even knowing. When I finally seen her, I was startled and knew that I had another problem to solve. Great. In April's hands were a pair of scissors, some cotton swabs, a fluffy bear, and a shirt. I'm guessing the scissors were for cutting my shirt to clean the wound on my chest and for cutting my pants around my leg wound. The fluffy bear was probably for muffing my soon-to-be dying screams, and the shirt was probably for tying up my leg wound. I silently sighed to myself, knowing the inevitable was about to happen. April sat down the items in her hands while she sat next to me. She tried to reassure me that it wouldn't be so painful. I thought to myself, who was she trying to fool? I know that it would be extremely painful, but I just didn't know how painful it was going to be in the end. April stopped trying to reassure me and got to business. She grabbed the scissors and started to cut off my shirt. She gently tried to remove the shirt off my wound, but since my blood had dried out, the shirt was stuck to my skin. When she tried tugging at the shirt, it caused me a bout of pain. Seeing that what she was doing wasn't working, she took the scissors and cut the shirt around the wound so that it would be easier on me. While reaching for the rubbing alcohol, April said, "Brace yourself and try not cry, because this is going to sting bad." I felt like she was trying to rub the pain in my face, or it might have just been my imagination. April looked me in the eyes, waiting for me to give her the confirmation to start. I took in a long deep breath and nodded. She looked at my chest wound, then started to pour the rubbing alcohol. For 2 entire seconds I didn't feel anything until the pain came in with a vengeance. It felt like I was getting punched in the face repeatedly. I started to breathe like I was hyperventilating. That just showed how much pain I was in. When I got my breathing under control, I looked at April, signaling her to remove the remainder of the shirt from my wound. She started to remove it slowly. This time, the remainder of the cloth came off easily, though it still brought me pain. April took a cotton swab, dabbed it in some rubbing alcohol, and started to apply it to my wound, cleaning the wound as best as she could. Since there wasn't any band-aids big enough to cover the chest wound at the moment, she left it alone for now. After April was done cleaning the wound, it was the first time I realized I was shirtless in front of her. I was slightly embarrassed, but I was also proud because I didn't let my body go even without sports. I had a barely noticeable six-pack and my chest had some meat on it. While I was slightly embarrassed, April on the other hand had a slight blush on her face. Seeing her blush, I did a little smile, which made her turn her face away from me. A couple of seconds later, we got over ourselves. It was now time to take care of the biggest problem, my leg wound. April took the fluffy bear and put it in my mouth. In doing so, she effectively shut me up, even though I wasn't really talking. Afterwards, she started to prep for the inevitable. She touched the dagger, getting ready to pull it out. I took the bear out of my mouth just in time before she pulled the dagger out. Wait, give me a minute to prep myself. Alright, but you have to be fast, we don't want the wound to be infected. Yeah, I'll be fast. I took in a deep breath, then said status window in my head. Though my stats increased by a small amount from level 1 to level 2, it showed that I was getting stronger. Status window. Name, Jason King. Race, human. Age, 20. Gender, male. LVL, 2. Titles, Madness. Health, 28, 100. Magic, 100, 100. Stamina, 95, 120. Strength, 17, 10. Endurance, 12, 10. Constitution, 10, 10. Mana, 10, 10. Dexterity, 13, 10. Luck, 5, 5. Skills, Identification, Corpse Garden. Stat points, 5. My Constitution stat and my Mana stat hadn't increased for the 2 times I leveled up, and right now I needed to increase one of them. I choose to increase the Constitution stat right now because it was related to me healing, while on the other hand I didn't really need my Mana stat to go up. For my distribution of stats, I choose to put 3 points into Constitution, 1 point into Strength, and 1 point into Dexterity. Now my stat window was. Status window. Name, Jason King. Race, human. Age, 20. Gender, male. LVL, 2. Titles, Madness. Health, 30, 130. Magic, 100, 100. Stamina, 98, 120. Strength, 18, 10. Endurance, 12, 10. Constitution, 13, 10. Mana, 10, 10. Dexterity, 14, 10. Luck, 5, 5. Skills, Identification, Corpse Garden. Stat points, 0. I looked at April, out the fluffy bear back into my mouth, then nodded to her to show her that I was ready. April once again touched the dagger, but this time she put a little too much strength in her arms, causing it to move a bit. When the dagger moved, I felt extremely uncomfortable. It was almost like getting a paper cut, but 2 to 3 times more painful. April apologized before she suddenly pulled out the dagger. The fluffy bear fell out of my mouth for you to hear an inaudible scream. I blacked out for a good 5 seconds before I got back to my senses. I was in so much pain that I wished the dagger was still in my legs. At the least, when the dagger was in my leg, I felt uncomfortable, but it didn't cause a blinding pain. Today just wasn't my day. April grabbed the rubbing alcohol before I could react, pouring into the now open leg wound. I lost my voice during my last scream, so nothing came out of my mouth. I just kept feeling wave after wave of pain. Blood kept coming out the wound, so April reacted fast. She cut the shirt that she prepared earlier, then picked my leg up, sliding the piece of cloth under my leg, then tying it as hard as she could. This put some pressure on my leg, causing the bleeding to go down a bit. After a good 3 minutes, the pain started to fade away. Even then I was by no means comfortable, plus every time I looked at my leg I felt the pain coming back. Although this was purely psychological, the pain I felt was real. In a way this day would be a scar in my mind to overcome, or I would amount to nothing. I've come to understand that I would prefer to be alive with pain than be dead in a monster's stomach. With the pain fading, I started to feel extremely tired and sleepy, but I kept on fighting it. This wasn't the time to be laying around. There was still plenty of things to be done. I can't move right now, and I honestly don't want to, so I'll give you the spatial ring. After I said this, I took off my spatial ring and gave it to April. Although I gave it the spatial ring to April, I still felt a little reluctance since the ring was my baby, figuratively of course. "Alright, but I might keep it," said April teasingly. "I'll get as much things as I can. If there's something you want me to get, say it now." "I don't know if the meats we could get will spoil or not, but I want some bacon, a lot of candy, especially some trolleys, and whatever else you could grab. Also, if we can't get everything we need, we could always come back." April jokingly said, "Why do you always want candy? I'll get you some fruits and maybe one bag of trolleys if I feel like it." While April started walking away to get the things we need, I yelled the sass. I heard some laughing then, you bet. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more.